don't have a, I don't have a review exactly for this particular wine, but then it sort of knows there are, let's say, a new restaurant shows up in Hyderabad. There is no reviews for that, and let's say there are some attributes of that. It's a South Indian place, vegetarian, so and so ambiance, air conditioned or not. There are a bunch of attributes. And then it says, well, let me look at all the other restaurants like that in Hyderabad. And let's see what people say about that. So it combines all of that and says, well, it looks like, this might be an average or this is best estimate. That's how it can generate. Because, and it's better than, I also have no idea. And if you ask me what the average restaurant is, I have no idea. I haven't been to all of them. And that's how it is able to generate. There's a technique in Google that is something called collaborative filtering. It's a simple collaborative, but that is a very simple technique. Also, is more powerful than that. Collaborative filtering doesn't do text analysis. Make sense? You have another question?
Yeah, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, first of all, it's an honor to be here. Your technology is groundbreaking, really. I mean, it could be used in environmental research, medicine, like you said. But where my question lies is in the fact that with products with no reviews, such as I just stated, oftentimes in websites such as Shein or Amazon lately, you see their titles are flooded with words. So as to when customers put in certain input, it throws back several results at you, even when it's super vaguely related. So how did you stop these random results from biasing your data set?
Great point. In fact, let me add to that. In Amazon also, I think it's Surya particular company. There are a lot of fake reviews too. So this is where I think collaboration with my colleague in engineering is important because he is very good at catching fake reviews. So there need to be some filtering mechanism that actually happen. On the other hand, if you take something like Expedia, for example, Expedia, you can't throw random stuff like that. You can only write a review only if you actually stayed at that hotel or if you took that flight and so on. Those are actually, instances like there is a filtering mechanism like that. I think my guess is that such filtering mechanism will start to happen, and then people will then trust those reviews more, and our technology will be better used. And that's why I said, this is a proof of concept test in what you can do, but the application or usefulness are in many other industries actually. This is a proof of concept in some sense, but the interesting applications are elsewhere as well. But even here, what it says is that for companies, try to have some filtering mechanism so that random stuff doesn't show up, because that's going to mess up what you see. Is a good question. Making sense?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
I'm Dr. Sharat. I'm from Technology Management, University College of Commerce and Business Management under Professor Sri Rana, sir. So I understand this is a wonderful technology, and what you have achieved is like almost human-like in generating reviews and synthesizing and summarizing on the whole. But my question is, as much as a new product or a service is developed looking at to cater to a specific segment market, now that we can only give a whole spectrum of what the entire market would think instead of just a segment market, because value proposition changes from segment to segment. So what would be the implications of this on?
Great question. I know I'm from marketing. I understand exactly what you're talking about. It's all the products are designed to fit some needs. It's all about segmentation. So then the question, wouldn't it be great if these reviews are segmented by value propositions? Some people might focus on price. Some people might focus on quality. Some people might focus on convenience, right? And so going forward, as I said, this is a proof of concept. Going forward, take the summarization task. We would be able to summarize this by these value propositions. So one way to think about is, it can be done in 2 layers, and that's something that we'll be working on in the future. Is first segment these reviews by value propositions, so that you're not getting the entire average of the entire market, and summarize those within each of those value propositions. Among those people, for those people, for price is important, here is a summary of the reviews. For those people, convenience is important. Here is a summary of their values. Does that make sense? So we can, that is also possible. It's just that we haven't done that.
In, if I continue
Sure.
this question, just in new product development, what we go by is gap analysis in identifying. There is something called morphological analysis of a product. What kind of product would this particular gap would require in the market? So we gave a particular product attributes, like what is that they're looking for and how and what. Now, I think the greatest application of your technology here would be trying to understand what the major segment market would be requiring of a manufacturer to manufacture a particular product for them. Because it reduces so much effort on the part of the teams to manufacture in a customizable form, as in manufacturing to the needs of the consumer segment.
I cannot agree with you. That's awesome, exactly. But if you give the enough data,
Yes.
you'll be able to figure out what kind of a product, what is the gap in the market in this particular. Absolutely, if you have enough data in the previous, gap and the types of products, this technology can be useful. I completely agree. That's a great future research project, actually.
Thank you, sir. It's a great honor talking to you.
Thank you.
Have a beautiful day.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, this is Dr. Akhtar Ali.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Praveen.
Yes.
It is not a question, just a comment which will really change the perception of the people in the hall. There is a couplet in Urdu. हमसे है ज़माना ज़माने से हम नहीं हमको मिटा सके ज़माने में दम नहीं. This is a very famous couplet. Almost all of you might have heard about it. All right. Now the new version of this couplet goes like this. हमसे है IT से हम नहीं मगर IT को मिटा सके ज़माने में दम नहीं.
That's great. Thank you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
My name is Humaira. I'm a computer science researcher. It's a very great talk, sir.
Thank you.
I wonder whether you plan to add any sort of interpretations to the results that have been generated by the model.
Can you elaborate on what you mean by interpretation of the results?
If it has arrived to a particular review, why it has arrived to that particular review?
Oh, you raised it. That's a great question. And the reason I'm smiling is because, if you think about machine learning technologies, right? In machine learning technologies, if I were to draw a graph, x-axis is explainability, which is what you're talking about.
Yes, sir.
And y-axis is prediction. Okay? X-axis is explainability, y-axis is prediction. So it turns out, at least at this stage, the graph is downward sloping. That means that the technology, machine learning technologies that are really good at prediction, they are not that good in explanation. And the machine learning technologies are really good at explanation. That's why I still love regression analysis. The beauty of regression analysis is also a machine learning technique. It explains things really well. I know exactly what the beta coefficients mean. I know exactly what the standardized coefficients mean. I can take the price coefficient and tell the manager what should be the optimal price. That's the beauty of regression. But the prediction is not that great. But neural networks and this encoder decoder transform architectures, they're great at prediction, but not at explanation. The reason they are not good at explanation is because we are estimating 1400 parameters. It is very hard to figure out which parameter is linked to what. Like if you ask Netflix, for example, Netflix only cares about prediction. Netflix wants to know no matter what movie you want to watch tomorrow. It doesn't care how you got there. It says if I can predict it, that's what matters to me. Right?
Yes.
But on the other hand, a pricing manager would say, I want to know my sweet spot for the price. I need to be able to explain that. So there is a PhD student in Massachusetts Institute of Technology that is working on an exact project in the sense that how do we enhance the explainability in these neural network problems? Ongoing research topic is hard. It predicts Because the thing is, that's why you have so many hidden layers. It's really, you can't pinpoint what's causing it. But what it can say is that, as I showed you, if you change the review rating from 70 to 90, it's going to give you a glowing review. If you change the rating from 90 to 65, it's giving you a bad review. So it knows the sensitivity of input to output. But why it does that, that's where we are, and hopefully in the future we will get at technology that are good at both prediction and explanation.
Thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Well, we're sort of over time, so I'll do whatever you want me to do.
Yeah.
All right. One last question. Yeah. One last question.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
When we talk about this AI approach for different applications, keep aside apart from the healthcare.
Yeah.
But healthcare is more sensitive and it's the most critical application.
Yeah.
So when a lot of analysis is done by the AI approach and on the machine learning and the machines is done, and the doctor depends on the machine analysis and the summary and already goes for the prescription and everything. But how if there is any fault in your machine itself, and how frequently you need to check that, and how much difference is recognized, because all the approaches, all the applications, I feel it's keep aside. But healthcare, I think there should be a proper validation and how frequently we have to do the validation for the machine and how to ensure that, because you are testing it on the human healthcare. So that's the issue.
So my response is twofold. One is, whether we like it or not, it's still happening. For example, in the US, when a patient comes in for a kidney transplant, for example, every physician uses this technology that's out of Emory University. They punch in the patient characteristics, and the machine will recommend whether this person should go for a liver transplant or dialysis. That's already happening. And my hope is that the physician is using his or her judgment and not relying on the machine 100%, but taking the contextual factors into consideration. See, machine recommendation is a starting point, but the physician knows the patient and needs to add to that. So that's what I'm saying that the synergistic effects, all right? And so all we are saying is our technology, I'm confident, is better than the current technology. We're just trying to make it better. And in that, by better, we mean by doing a very good, training and test set validation. Part two of your answer is, see, at the end of the day, machines can only be as good as the training data set. Okay? I work with Arvind Eye Care Hospital in Madurai, Tamil Nadu, and guess what? Many of the resident physicians there are coming from United States and UK because they want to understand, because in India, because of the large population, there's a lot of heterogeneity in terms of the disease states and so on in eye care. So they want to learn from all of that so that they can take the technology, whereas in the US it's a very homogeneous population and their learning is limited because of the homogeneity. The reason they're coming to eye care is because of the heterogeneity in the eye care that they can learn from that. So stepping back on that, so the machines will only be as good as the training data that we give the machine. The more heterogeneous the training set is, the better will be the output of the machine. Even in Tesla self-driving car, the reason there's so many accidents still happening is that the training data set is still not there for the machine to understand, whether the person in front of you is a human being or an animal or a small child, because there's not enough training data. So when the quality of the training data improves, the output of the machine will be better.
So I think can we conclude the accuracy depends upon the best training sets?
Absolutely. It's garbage in, garbage out. Thank you. Thank you all.
Sorry. Thank you very much. Because of the want of time, I'm stopping here. But Professor Praveen, as you see, about 90% of my audience is the young generation, the students of Osmania University. And I believe it would be apt on behalf of them if I pose this question to you, that how did Praveen Koppali, 1986 undergraduate from this particular university, thought of becoming what you are today? Of course, in the presentation, there was a slide that was telling about the legacy that we have, shared. That's the kind of legacy each one of us should be aiming towards. Like, what is our future generation gonna think about us personally? But at the same time, on behalf of the university students, I would like to know what was the trigger, how Praveen Koppali from this university became what he is today. Please.
Thank you. Simple answer is, guys, if I can do it, anybody can do it. It's not, it's just a lot of hard work. That's why I tell people, I give the example of, you see a duck beautifully swimming on a lake, but underneath that, you know how hard the duck is paddling? That's what keeps it afloat. One is, keep on paddling. And second is, look for opportunities. Be confident. Don't be afraid of building your network and say, hey, I got this idea. The worst thing that can happen is they'll say no, right? If they say no, you are in the same state and it's like you're no worse off. But don't be afraid to take no's. I've taken many no's in my life. Because what is the worst? They can say no, so what? And the third one is belief. If you believe something, if you believe in yourself, it will happen. Let me give you an example. Listen to me. When I tell this story to my friends or even the US, they just cannot believe it. I was on my way to give a talk at University of California, Berkeley, from New York City. I had a changeover in flight. It was winter time. I had a changeover in flight in Minneapolis, and my flight from New York to Minneapolis was delayed. The flight landed in Terminal A. My next flight was in Terminal C. It was, I ran for 10 minutes, at 9 kilometers an hour, and I was way out of time. The plane, this plane landed exactly, 3 minutes before the other plane takeoff time. I ran to that gate, and not only the gate was closed, the drawbridge was taken aback, and the plane moved back from the gate. You see what I'm saying? Moved back to the gate. Got there, I banged on the door, no one was there, someone came in, and then I said, I need to be on that plane. I said, this is, it's really important. It's a very important. Tomorrow morning, I need to be in San Francisco. Tomorrow morning, I need to be in San Francisco. I need to be on that plane. He said, there's no way the plane left the gate. I said, can you make a phone call? And he insisted, and that person, made a phone call. I said, let me talk to your supervisor. And I told the supervisor, look, plan B is not an option, I said. There's only one plan, and that plan is I need to be on that plane. This is how important to me. Because in my heart of hearts, I believe, and now I can think back and say, it's okay, but no big deal, just a talk at Berkeley, they can live without it, right? But at that time, it's important. In my own heart of heart, I believe plan B was not an option. Once you believe that plan B is not an option, there's only plan A. So I was able to convince the supervisor, you won't believe it. The plane came back to the gate, the drawbridge opened, and the gate opened. And the passengers in the plane thought, there was probably a president or prime minister or some big shot was coming in, and they see this little Indian guy walking down in the economy class. And I thought, I got a good check out of that. So, I would say third is not, plan B is not an option, there's only plan A. The moment you think there's plan B, you will leave plan A. You see, that a lot of time we make the mistake that we're already thinking of plan B. If half your brain is already thinking of plan B, plan A is a non-starter. So keep that confidence, keep at it. And there are no shortcuts in life, man. There are no shortcuts. They look easy. There are no shortcuts. There's no substitute to hard work. That's it. If you head down to the work and things will happen. As I said, I'm not that smart. I'm just hardworking. That's all. Does that make sense?
Thank you so much, Professor Praveen Popole. Indeed, your alma mater is proud of you. Now I request Professor B. Ravindra, Honorable Vice Chancellor of the University, to kindly felicitate Professor Praveen Popole. As we have known, Praveen Popole was the alumni of this particular university, and the journey that he has made from here, from the colonies of Mandipatnam to Dalmau and further on. Please give a big applause to our own Spaniard, Professor Praveen A. Popole. Signal Company's Professor of Management and Marketing, Tech School of Business, Dhaka College. Let me also try. Thank you very much, Professor Ravindra, Professor Popole, Professor Lakshmi Narayana, Professor Sriram Venkatesh, and Professor Sriram for doing the honors. Now I request Principal University College of Engineering, Professor Sriram Venkatesh, to give the concluding remarks.
Distinguished guest on the dais, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Osmania University, and today's distinguished speaker, Professor Praveen K. Popole, a respected registrar, my friend Professor Sriram, Principal, University College of Commerce and Business Management, Alumni Association President, Engineering College, Dr. Vijay, Dr. Sudhakar, all deans, principals, heads of the departments of various departments, and dear my students, Mrs. Scholars, press and electronic media. Once again, good afternoon to all of you. Since our Honorable Vice Chancellor took over charge as Vice Chancellor of this great university, he came up with a 21-point agenda, as he mentioned in the speech, under 4 verticals. So this particular distinguished alumni lecture series 2 is part of his 21-point agenda. And because of that, already sir mentioned that the Osmania University has climbed up to 20 points, 10 points, 32 to 22. I think at the end of the second year, I hope we will become a single digit NRF ranking. As I mentioned, we have 4 pillars: faculty, students, staff, and alumni. Since he has taken over the charge, the weak point was the connecting alumni, that is actually striving hard and putting a lot of efforts. Almost he succeeded in connecting the alumni and strengthening the 4th pillar, that alumni. So I thank sir for giving me opportunity to the Engineering College and the Commerce and Business College for organizing this very wonderful and excellent lecture by Sri Praveen Popole. Sri Praveen Popole is alumnus of Mechanical Engineering Department of University College Engineering,
82 to 86 batch. So we are selfish to mention that he is our student, mechanical department in local, globally Usmania student. So he summarized particularly the artificial intelligence and its applications. Artificial intelligence has penetrated into every walk of life, every industry, name biomedical or anything. So he mentioned about the deep learning, machine learning, and also Amazon MTech survey and food and wine, its applications in decision making, review, and all these are part of Industry 4.0. So the basic elements of Industry 4.0 is artificial intelligence, machine learning, 3D printing, and IoT, Internet of Things. So today, whatever is spoke on artificial intelligence, the basic element of the Industry 4.0. And nowadays we are looking at smart wearables, smart homes, smart cities, smart agriculture, smart cars, smart healthcare, and smart industry automation, smart energy. Anything is smart, there is artificial intelligence. So without that, there is no industry. So every walk of life and industries, the artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning are embedded. Particularly, as you mentioned, in the Tesla car, all these are already embedded. And in the question answer session also, so whether woman is powerful or machine is powerful, both are powerful, we can say. Machines are nothing without human beings. And whatever garbage is there, no, it will come out garbage. So whatever the numbers we give, it comes out numbers only. Whether centimeter or millimeter, kilometer, it doesn't recognize anything. So only thing is, it is our job to recognize the numbers which are in millimeters or centimeters or kilometers. We give something, it gives something. So it is our job is to analyze, synthesize whatever the results we are getting out of our inputs. That is very important. And also, time to time, the algorithms and coding must be updated. Otherwise, the decision making may go wrong. So, sometimes, the women may do mistake because of the fatigue, because of the frustration or mental status. We are having chance of doing mistake, but machines don't do that. So that is the only way we can utilize machines for faster decision making, faster completion of the work. So after this session, we are organizing two sessions at Commerce and Management College. After lunch, Sri Praveen Kovalle is going to interact with the business management students, followed by the interaction session organized at University College Engineering Usman University in the EC auditorium. All heads of the departments of Engineering College are going to organize this along with the Professor Dr. Vijay Kumar, Alumni Association President of Engineering College, and 3:30. No problem. Okay. So there is an exclusive interaction with the MBA students and engineering college students, our own campus students in the MBA department and engineering college respectively. So once again, I thank you very much for giving me opportunity to me and to Professor Sai Rupini to organize this wonderful distinguished lecture. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Sriram Venkatesh. Now is the time for the vote of thanks, and I request Professor D. Sriram to propose the vote of thanks.
A warm and grateful morning to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, sir, Chief Guest of Honor, Management Committee, EC members, principals, deans, directors, faculty members, research scholars, and our alumni and OU family members, as well as the print and electronic media. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution all appreciated to make the program a grand success. I extend a really heartfelt vote of thanks to our chief guest, Professor Praveen K, who spent time from his busy schedule and delivering the alumni lecture on a very important topic. I must mention our deep sense of appreciation for giving inspiring lecture. we had opportunity to hear your thoughts, and this will be surely be going to encourage our young generations. And we thankful for being with us this beautiful morning. And topics like management type logistic management, multi-dimensional scaling, machine learning, and touch the buyer black box inputs as well as regression beautifully explained. We delighted, sir, by your appreciation and a valuable proposition. I extend my most sincere thanks to our leader, our backbone, and everything to our Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sir, Professor D. Ravinder Garu, for organizing, encouraging, and motivating. Because of Sir only, today's program is successful. And Sir stand with us, and Sir given direction to the engineering as well as commercial management. Today we are, sir, and we are believing that your concept called the synergy. Normally in management say that not 1 plus 1 is 2, but we believe in the never. So you are the behind us. Now I am immensely thankful to Professor Lakshman Sir, Registrar, for enormous cooperation in organizing event and place of record this sir and with the leaf of sense of appreciation. I also extend thanks to Professor V. Reddy and I, Vice Chancellor, for encouraging this event. I may like to express our sincere thanks to faculty members, non-teaching staff, research scholars, students of engineering, students of University College of Commerce and Business Management, and the students of the management from all the 100 colleges and few permanent colleges, and all other stakeholders of Usmania University. I would also like to thank the people who worked behind the scenes to make this event happen a resounding success. We are happy and grateful for this successful program. Once again, I would like to thank each and one of you. I am grateful for giving me the opportunity because I am professor here, but after 28 years, fortunately I got this gas service because after 28 years. So normally this is a dream of our corporate tutorial. These are all happened because of our leader, Professor Ravinder sir. So thank you so much, and thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir. I would request all of you to rise for the national anthem and